Hello everyone, welcome to Panic Thread. Today we are starting a video series on Rust programming language. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. About Rust, it was introduced in 2015 as a systems programming language, but its journey started back in 2006-2009. Right now it's more of a general purpose language as you can use it to build a website, mobile application, a desktop application and so on. The biggest selling point for Rust is a memory safety, which is built on top of ownership model. And if you ask me, I feel ownership model in Rust is truly a state of an art. If you have seen errors like segmentation fault, null pointer exceptions, and high memory usage, then you are at a right place. You can avoid all these errors using Rust programming. To give a better perspective on usage of Rust, it's being adopted by many large-scale organizations, and even recent push by US government towards the use of memory-safe language is definitely giving it an edge. If we take a look at the areas where it's used right now, then you will be amazed it's used in Android smartphones. It's a part of your Windows operating system. It's part of the Linux kernel, and it's used by cloud providers like AWS. And there is a huge shift in industry towards Rust right now. If you don't believe me, take a look at the Stack Overflow survey. Rust for 7 years consistently came up on top as a most loved programming language. To be frank, Rust has a steep learning curve, and that's the reason we are starting with this video series. And I'll make sure it will be easy to learn and easy to understand. First step in journey to learning Rust is downloading and installing Rust on your machine. So the official website of Rust is rust-lang.org. Now click on that install link, and if you are using Linux or Mac, then all you need is this command. Just copy it and run it in your terminal. Let me open the terminal. I'll just paste the link in terminal and it will download the installer. I'm going to hit enter to go with the default installation options. Click finishly because Rust is already installed on my machine. Once it is installed, you just need to restart this terminal. If you are using a Windows, then you will get a button to download an exe file, either 32-bit or 64-bit file. Just download it and double click to install the Rust. Before we start, let's go over a few tools which we will be using in Rust. First one is a Cargo. Cargo is a build tool for Rust, which bundles common actions into a single command and makes it easier to manage projects and dependencies. It includes features for testing, building, and managing packages. So the second tool is Rust Analyzer. Rust Analyzer is a free and open source implementation of the language server protocol for Rust programming language. It provides features like auto completion. It also helps in fixing Clippy linting errors. So the Clippy is another useful tool that provides collection of lints to catch common mistakes and improve Rust code quality. Now let's go back to our terminal and let's create a simple Hello World application. And the way to create a new application in Rust is Cargo, new, and then let's name our application Hello World. Okay, so our application is created. Now we can open it in our editor. So you can use any editor like a Z editor, VSCode, or Rust Rover. In this video, we'll go with the VSCode, but in subsequent videos, we'll use the Rust Rover ID. Let me open the VSCode. So let's open the project that we just created. One folder, Hello World, and then open. Now, before we look at the code on all the files which are created, we'll install a couple of plugins which are needed for the development of Rust. So the first plugin which we are going to install is a Rust Analyzer. This will be useful for auto completion. Let's search for it. Rust Analyzer. So this is the one which we want to install. Click on the install, Rust Publisher and install. Now the second plugin is Code LLDB. Search for it and then we can click on the install button. We need this one to debug our application. And the next plugin is Dependy. This is quite interesting one because it helps in installing the dependencies or the third-party libraries. And even it helps in upgrading the versions of the packages. Now the remaining plugins that we are going to install are not really necessary or not really required, but we are still going to install them. So the first one is Error Cleanse. This plugin is a lot helpful actually because it gives errors just like the one that we see on the screen. Now we don't obviously want to make any grammatical mistakes in our code. And for that, we have one plugin which is Code Spell Checker. So let's install it as well. And last but not least is the to-do tree. As a programmer, we add so many to-do statements in our code and we have to visit them back in future. So this plugin is helpful in that scenario. Let's install it. Now we are ready to look at the code. So let's go back to the Explorer view. So Cargo has created a couple of files in here. So first one is basically the SRC folder. SRC folder is where you will write your code. And about the cargo.toml file, it contains all the essential details which Rust uses to build your application. If you are familiar with the package.json or Maven's POM file, then Cargo is somewhat similar to those files in nature. Now let's look at the SRC folder. SRC folder contains main.rs and main.rs contains a main function, which is nothing but an entry point for our application. So the basic code is already in place. So let's run our application. Open a terminal, then let's run cargo run. As soon as you hit cargo run, it does two things. First, it compiles your code, okay? And the second step is basically running an application. Now let's modify the message that is printed on the screen. Welcome to Panic Thread. And let's rerun the application. Cargo run. Great. So we are able to see the changes in our terminal. So one last point. If I rerun the application using cargo run command, cargo run, it will simply skip the compilation step because when we executed first time after making the change, it did the compilation step. So it is not going to repeat the same step again. It is just simply going to rerun the application. So that's just scratching the surface. Rust has many powerful features like pattern matching, type inference, and rich ecosystem of libraries. We will explore all these in future videos. So that wraps our first video. Make sure to leave a like if you found this useful and stay tuned for more episodes. Until next time, happy coding.